Colonel William Goose Chanjos here on the Rusty Humphreys Show. He was the pilot that flew Hillary Clinton into Bosnia. Let's hear another one of her clips. This is a reporter saying that there are some differing accounts on her trip to Bosnia. Clip 9, please.
There's some differing accounts of your trip to Bosnia, and I'm wondering if you can clarify. I know you recalled, ducking under sniper fire, and Sinbad, in his account, who's on the trip, he said that the most dangerous part was remembering where he was going to eat next.
He's a comedian, Joe. He's a comedian.
So there's her kind of trying to deflect. Oh, he's a comedian. There was some serious stuff there. All right, let's go to the next clip here. This is where it starts getting interesting, and I want you to tell me what happened here, Goose. This is where she says she was in a C-17 because it was armored. Here we go.
When we were flying into Bosnia, we had to... part of the reason we were in the C-17 is because part of it is armored.
Stop. Okay, was that true? Is that C-17 armored?
That's a true statement, and again, that's a Secret Service call. And plus, I will just tell you, the way the terrain is, the way the length of the runway and that sort of stuff, it really is not conducive for the presidential airlift planes, Air Force One or Air Force Two. So a plane that can do short landings, and we do have onboard defensive systems in case someone should have shot and misled us, and so it's a combat plane.
Okay.
Unlike Air Force One or Air Force Two.
All right.
A C-130 would have been that way. A 141 would have been that way. A C-5 would have been that way. Any of our military planes are like that.
And she was accurate when she said it was a C-17.
That's a true statement. Yeah.
Okay. Let's continue with her statement.
I was moved up into the cockpit. Everyone else was told to sit on their bulletproof vest.
Stop. Okay, now she's basically quoting you, is my guess here. Moving you into the cockpit, everybody sit in your bulletproof vest.
And what the real answer is there is, again, this is all Secret Service directed.
Okay.
Because it's a cargo plane, the pilots and the crew sit up front, so that's where most of the armor is. In the back, it's not armored because you're typically just carrying cargo, which doesn't need a whole lot of protection. But I can tell you that it was not under my direction or anybody that I know of to have the passengers sit on their flak jackets.
I've never heard of that one either. I would think that you would put the flak jacket on. As a matter of fact, I recall when I landed into Iraq, that was a big deal. Get that damn thing on and put the helmet on.
Well, I think just knowing nothing else, I remember that in Apocalypse Now they sat on their flak jackets.
Well, of course, it was in a movie. Okay, right. But you've never heard of that before.
Nobody under my watch has ever directed somebody to sit on their flak jacket, unless they needed to sit taller or something. I don't know. Maybe they needed a cushion to see over the steering wheel.
Goose,
I don't know.
Goose, you're not in the military anymore. You don't have to give these parsed answers. You can.
So no, we do not direct people to sit on their flak
Okay,
jackets.
thank you. All right, let's continue.
And we came in a evasive maneuver. There was no greeting ceremony, and we basically were told to run to our cars. Now that is what happened.
Goose, that's what happened.
Yeah. So no evasive maneuver. Okay. I tell you, I will give it to the commander of Air Base Eagle. He had that place. Not only weren't there bullets flying around, there wasn't a bumblebee flying around. He had that place locked up tight. He had. It was really impressive. He had tanks pointing all the way around the perimeter. He had ground troops every place. He had helicopters in the air to make sure that nobody could, for any ground movement. And we did the same approach we did every time, and it was a steep approach, but that's because there were hills around it. It was just what we do every time. I mean, every landing into there was the same way.
So, by the way, this is an exclusive interview here on the Rusty Humphreys Show. Goose, you haven't told this story to anybody else, have you?
No, I haven't. Although I was talking just a little earlier, I was talking to a friend of mine who was also on board, and we didn't remember any bullets because we were sitting up front waiting, so we probably would have seen them.
Now, let me ask you this: those bullets, she says that there was no greeting ceremony and they were told to run to their cars. As the pilot, do you remember saying anything like that? Run.
No, but let me just say, I didn't say it, and I was the aircraft commander. So if somebody said it, it was not part of my crew. And I'll be honest with you, I mean, if there had been sniper fire going on, Rusty, first of all, we wouldn't have landed, okay? That's number one. Number two, we wouldn't have let her outside the plane. We had contingencies for just in case something like that. We would have gone around and gone back or gone someplace. But the fact that we landed tells you that there's nothing going to happen. You know what? At least at that moment, it was secure.
You know what it sounds like to me, Goose? I don't think that Hillary, and I guess they don't realize how many people put their lives in the line to make sure that her stay was smooth and flawless and nothing would go wrong. I don't think she has any idea of what you went through and what the guys on the ground and everybody had to do to pull themselves together. And so, heck, if you exaggerate a little bit, it's not that big of a deal because, she's just telling a story. But this kind of story, it's just silly. It's fairyland.
Yeah, it was. This first made the blogs, I think about a month ago, and a friend of mine sent it to me, and he said, weren't you the aircraft commander on that one? I said, yeah. I go, I don't remember any of this stuff. Maybe she went another time. So, but knowing that actually she didn't. So,
all right, let's hear some other more clips of her talking about this incident. This was in Waco, February 28th, 2008.
I remember particularly a trip to Bosnia where the welcoming ceremony had to be moved inside because of sniper fire.
You know what's interesting, Goose?
What's that?
What's interesting to me is you're not even in the military anymore. Between you and me, you're not a big fan of Hillary. But even then, even though you knew that this was wrong, even then you still didn't rat her out because you thought maybe it was a slam of sorts.
People have their own remembrances of stuff. I mean, I don't claim to be a psychologist or anything. So I would never call him, senator.
Listen to you being Mr. Nice Guy. I mean, you kept her secret.
So just say there was no sniper fire on the ground. Let's just say that.
You know what? You know what this is? This is an officer and a gentleman. That's what you're hearing right now, an officer and a gentleman. You're just doing your job, and let's see. Let me give you one more clip here. Today's show, January 2nd, 2008.
I was the first high-profile American to go into Bosnia after the Dayton Peace Accord.
But when you mention something like Bosnia, that people have responded, yeah, but she went to Bosnia, for example, with Sinbad, with a performer. That was about. That wasn't really establishing any kind of foreign policy.
Oh.
Okay, now you just mentioned, well, she says she's the first high-profile American to go into Bosnia after the Dayton Peace Accord. I don't recall.
Except for the president, except for the Secretary of Defense, but other than those two, she was the first. So, maybe it all depends on what your time of reference is,
It's all the definition of is. The definition of first is. Goose, again, I always appreciate you being on the program, and I always appreciate your service to the country. And again, of all of the guys in the military, I got to call the guy that flew her in. And I just I've had a big kick out of that all day long. So
that was pretty funny, wasn't it?
So again, for those of you just tuning in, this is Colonel William Goose Chanjos. He was the pilot that flew Hillary into Bosnia. There was no gunfire. There was no sniper fire. There were no evasive maneuvers. The greeting ceremony was there. Nobody was told to sit on their bulletproof vests. And anything else I'm missing there, Goose?
No, you pretty much wrapped it up.
That's pretty much it.